Alright guys, before this video starts and I start talking about the update, I just want to first off say I apologize for the last video. That video that I just started this current video with was the video I was referring to in that video about starting the live streams. I forgot to overlay it. That's completely my fault and I apologize for it. So I decided to start this video with it. Secondly, the gameplay in the background, I want to say thanks to Vishaw. Vishaw is a World of Tanks YouTuber and Twitch streamer for the console edition, and he has allowed me to use his background footage for this video. So thank you again. Their Twitch and YouTube links will be in the description down below. Make sure you guys go sub to him on YouTube and follow him on Twitch. Alright, so moving into the update itself. So today, they had another dev stream, and they talked about some stuff and what they wanted to fix. But the thing that really made me laugh, I had to laugh at it, was they released a micro update today that was supposed to fix a lot of bugs, and you know the update ended up creating one of the funniest things. So after installing the micro update, I don't know about Xbox, but I know on PlayStation I saw multiple people talking about it. When you tried to start the game, it would crash, and in some cases crash your console. So the bug fix was just not allowing you to play the game, and personally I think that might be a good thing. But enough about that. There is there is a clip from the stream especially that I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to show you guys that in just a second. I'll let the clip play, I'll shut up during it, and then I'll talk about it afterwards. So here's that clip from today's dev stream.
Just noticed from chat as well that I'll just make a brief comment on from community standpoint. Definitely see the polls and stuff as well. I know there's a big poll on the forums at the moment. That's approximately around 2,000 players that have voted for it. That is absolutely not the full player base, but it is. I have noticed it. I've seen it. I appreciate it. I respect you guys. For making a stance on certain things. I know it's important to you, and that's why we're looking on. We're taking these things seriously.
All right. So as you guys, I'm sure, gathered from the clip, Liam is referring to this poll right here, where 92% of the community that has voted, obviously not the entire community as they said, says they dislike the update. Oh, excuse me. Now, something I don't understand here is they bring up the point, or Liam brings up the point, that that's not the entire community. And while he's correct, if I were a game developer, let's say I was the game developer for World of Tanks, and I put a poll out asking, hey, do you guys like this update? Do you guys want this update? And I put that poll out, and only about 2,000 people out of the player base, which I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say is around 10,000 for this game at this point. I don't know who's still here. And 92% of those 2,000 people said they don't like this update and they want to get rid of it. But my answer to them was just, well, you're not the entire player base, so I'm not going to listen to you. I don't understand that, personally. Maybe I know nothing. But personally, I don't understand how you can take a sample size, while it may be a smaller sample size. 2,000 people isn't small. Okay, that's a lot of people. And 92% of them are saying they don't like what you've done. They don't like what you've done to their game, the game that they enjoy. And you say, well, you're not the entire player base. How do you... That's a lot of people. I just don't see the logic in saying, well, you're not the entire player base, so we're not going to listen to it. And they claim to be taking it seriously. They clearly aren't taking it seriously. Any other game, I almost assure you, that has gotten this much negative feedback about something they did would undo it. How hard is it? I mean, I know it's not just the simplest thing to just roll back the game. I wasn't meaning in a literal sense. I was meaning how hard is it to listen to your community? They're listening to the small stuff. They've noticed the revert requests in the Twitch chat. Liam also addressed that. I'm not going to pull up the clip, but he also addressed that, talking about how he sees the revert requests and he appreciates them, but can we please keep the chat clear for people with actual questions? People with actual questions. I don't know what else I can say about it. That boggles my mind. That's enough about the dev stream. I don't need to get any more into that. I'm sure you guys understand what I'm talking about here and my frustration, as I'm sure most of you guys can relate to it. But I'm going to move on to this next section. A good friend of mine, SniperFirez, you guys might remember him from old streams of mine or RNG videos. There's some clips of his in there. He streamed the update today on Twitch, and I clipped some stuff that caught my eye. And I'm just going to show some of the clips from the stuff that we talked about and noticed during that play session. I'll let each clip play. I'll talk about it, and then, yeah.
It is dreadful. If it ain't broke, let's break it. Exactly. Well, who the fuck was that? I can't even tell who it was.
Alright. So, clearly in this clip, SniperFirez in his FE4005, and he gets shot from behind him somewhere and dies right here. So if we freeze it right here, you'll see that all that it displays for him to know what just shot him is just the name. Just the name of the player. And the kill feed's useless. The kill feed doesn't show him any useful information. All the kill feed shows is, you just got killed by this player. That player being Saxon D. And not to mention that the kill feed is almost impossible to read on the white background. And now we can see SniperFire has to go into this first menu here, has to go over to another menu, where I'll freeze it right here, to find out that SaxND is driving a Jagdpanzer E100. So now, SniperFire knows he was killed by a Jagdpanzer E100 somewhere behind him. Were they spotted? No fucking idea, because even when he turns around to look that way, it's not like you'd pick anything up on the chevrons anyways. I don't know why they made it this complicated. All they had to do was keep it the way it was, where if you got killed by something, it would say, you were killed by this player, in this case SaxND, using this tank, in this case Jagdpanzer E100. I don't see what's so complicated about that, why they had to change it, and how that makes it easier for new players. Let's move on to the next clip.
I hate how my tank is now like steaming. What is this? I don't want my tank to be steaming. Why? What's the point? So much pointless shite in this update.
Alright, this one's pretty self-explanatory because Sniper says it himself, but as you can see, his ELC right here is steaming because he's on low health. That adds absolutely nothing really. If he makes a good point later in his stream, I didn't clip it unfortunately, but he says if I got shot in the turret, my engine's not going to start steaming because I'm low on health. It makes no sense that the tank just starts smoking for no reason but is operating still perfectly fine. And another thing that is really just pointless is their way of fixing it and making it so you're aware that you have taken damage and you're low on health, instead of simply just making the health colors change like they did in the old version of World of Tanks console. They put the red ring around the outside of your screen like it's a Battlefield or Call of Duty game, which I guess signifies blood because we all know that tanks are very, very prone to bleeding. So let's move on to the next clip.
I'm sorry, did I not pen him there?
Alright, so this clip here is a perfect example of the UI not giving enough information to the player. So right here, Sniper fires a shot into the side of the 705A. And as you can see, it doesn't give him any information. There's no ribbon anymore telling him enemy damaged or critical hit or whatever. It just says in the center of the screen where the giant tank is that he's focused on, and everything else going on around him, fire, explosions from the shot, it says critical damage. That's all it tells him. Critical damage. He didn't pen. It took me a few times to watch this clip to figure it out. Once you see the critical damage thing, it explains that you didn't pen him, you just did a critical hit. If we had the ribbon system, which they got rid of for seemingly zero reason, it would have been pretty easy for him to tell if he had penned them or not. It would have just given him a critical hit ribbon instead of an enemy damaged or one of those pen ribbons. Something else from this clip I want to address. So watch when SniperFirez gets shot here. I'll freeze it right after he gets shot. You notice anything? So he just got shot. So anything look out of the ordinary to you guys? Anything look damaged to you guys? Well, let me zoom in on it for you. So that right there, that's the module / crew damage indicator in the bottom left of the screen that you guys are all, well, we used to be able to use. So if you look right there, one of those little dots in the tank has turned red. That's a crew member. So instead of them being displayed on the bottom on a nice solid background like it used to be, they're actually sitting there in the tank. And that crew member has turned red because they got killed or injured or whatever it's called during this fight. Now, what crew member is that? I have no idea. It doesn't tell you. There's no specific icon on it, not that I can see at least, or if there is, it's way, way, way too small. I don't know what crew member that is. I don't think Sniper ever even realized that one of his crew members was down. Just from the position of it, I'm taking a wild guess. Maybe it was the commander. But are you expected to memorize the position of all your crew members for every single tank that you own? And in some cases, for players like me that have 260 plus tanks, you expect us to memorize the exact location of each and every crew member in our tanks so that we know what crew member died right there. Because I can tell you for sure, I didn't notice a crew member died until watching the clip back multiple times, and I guarantee you, until watching this video, SniperFirez has no idea that one of his crew members was injured. Yeah, so that's another unnecessary change they made to that little damage indicator and crew injury indicator. That's all I wanted to say about this clip, so we can move on to the next one.
Oh, well, fuck it. I've got enough free XP, I might as well. Shall I? Ah, sod it. What is this? What? The fuck?
Alright, so this clip is more depressing than anything else. Here you can see SniperFirez buys a T-67, and the new garage animation for purchasing a vehicle goes through some blueprint stuff. The tank pops up on your screen, gives a little shitty poof of the gun right there, and it just sits there for a few seconds. I'm going to put a video of the old celebration to compare right here. really quick, I'm just going to put them side by side, as you can see right here, and I'll let you decide which celebration for purchasing a new tank you think is more exciting. In my opinion, it's a pretty easy answer. It's honestly sad how much they've downgraded it, and it honestly just seems like they were trying to cut corners and made it super cheap. Let's move on to the next clip.
No, I don't want to assign him to that. Oh, what? Where is the organisation in this? Tell me what? Where? I cannot see one bit of correlation in this list. Not one bit.
Alright, I'm not going to dig into this one too much. It's pretty obvious. Sniper's trying to assign a commander to a tank, and when you get to the tank list, there's zero correlation. None of these tanks correlate with one another. They're all just kind of thrown there. The only thing in common they all have is they're all premium tanks. That's really about it for this clip. It's pretty obvious and stupid what Wargaming have done, and we'll move on to the next one.
Another thing I noticed that I don't think many people have is the fact that you used to be able to see how much of your gun arc you'd used. It's not there anymore. But you can't see how wide your gun arc is, which really annoys me. On the server, yeah. Worst thing is now, you have no idea when your cabinet's up. I have no idea if and when my cabinet goes up.
Alright, so I decided to combine these two clips together because they kind of correlate. They're bits of information that are now missing because of the new HUD. So, what Sniper's referring to in this first clip with the gun arc is compared to this right here, which is what we used to have, where as you can see in a whole locked tank destroyer without a turret, it would show you how much you can move your gun to the right or to the left, and that's your gun arc. They got rid of that in the new update. Every tank is now just an Abrams, so it's pretty useless to everyone. It doesn't tell you anything about your gun arc at all. What he's talking about in this one is clearly on the screen. You have all of this stupid information around, spread around everywhere, but something that they clearly forgot to include is something showing the equipment that you are running. So SniperFirez camo net that he has on the T67, there's no way to see if it's activated or not, and that would go for the same with binoculars if you had them.
And that is game. We did really well there, I think. I think we can all agree. I managed to actually hold the ridgeline, and for such an effort, we finished first. Except we can't see any of my stats because the game's broken. Are we gonna see first, second, and third? No. Should we give the game? No. All right then.
Alright, so this bug's more funny to me than anything else. I mean, they added in this new screen to show the top 3 players of the battle, and somehow they already managed to fucking break it. Sniper gets first on this match in his Patriot, and it never shows a single stat for first, second, or third on this screen. It's just a really cool cinematic of these 3 tanks. I just found that really funny that one of the brand new features they just introduced is already broken. On to the next and final clip.
How? You got your log. Can I actually view? Oh, I can. Did you see it? Oh my god, did you see that? Tell me you saw that as well. brief like glint at the old scoreboard. Oh my god. World of Tanks is still there.
Alright guys, I'm sure as I don't really need to tell you, you can see when Sniper goes to his log here and goes to view the last battle, there was a quick preview that I have shown for you right here of the old World of Tanks screen, and it's truly sad that it's kind of back there, and I do... It looks like the game is trying to break out and it's trying to come back, and as Sniper says, World of Tanks is still there. The game is still there, and it wants to be here, but it just can't break its grasp. As well as something else that I saw, if you look at Sniper's stats there in his personal file, he has like a 270 KD ratio, which I checked, and he does not. And he has like a 2.7. I don't know how they broke that too, but yeah, they broke that. Jesus, my God, Wargaming, my God. Alright guys, so that's just about all I have for the clips. Before I go, I want to talk about a couple things. First, some things I've noticed with the other things I've noticed about the HUD and the UI in game. So obviously, as I've covered with the crew pictures, something else down there in that damage panel, I guess you could say, damage panel. The modules aren't clear as to what they are. Their pictures aren't that clear. Until they actually get damaged, they're not even there, which personally I liked when they were all there, so I knew what I had, you know. As well as crew members. I don't know what crew members I have really until they're dead. I liked having the crew pictures on the bottom, and that would tell me what crew members are in my tank. But as well as when you go into the sniper view, all that information that's in there telling you the distance and everything, all that is in really small white lettering and white font, and that's really hard to see on a background, especially if you're on a snowy map like Mountain Pass or one of the Blizzard maps if those ever make a return. I can't even imagine how hard it will be to see that on those maps. So that's definitely something that needs to change. Something else, like I brought up in that first clip, just make it so it shows you what tank shot you or killed you. It makes it so much easier for everyone. And fix the kill feed. As well as the health points. So obviously in that damage panel that we have in the bottom left, what used to happen with it, it would change colors as your health went down, but instead of doing that, the color just stays the same in this game. And as well as on our reticle, you had the reload on the left telling you how much time you had till you reloaded, and on the right it shows your health, and that also was color coordinated just like the damage panel. And that's something that is really easy to understand, and it was really helpful to players, because instead of having to look away from the fight, because when you're in a fighting game, in a one-on-one or even sometimes more, one versus whatever situation, you don't want to be taking your eyes off the fight. You want to be looking at what's in front of you. You want to keep your eye on the enemy. And if you have to look all over the screen or look in the bottom right for information about the enemy tank, but I want to look in the bottom left for information about my tank, you're looking all over the place, and the enemy is just kind of sitting there in front of you doing whatever they want because you're not focused on them. So just a couple things. Again, I think they should add the health points changing colors again, and if they could add that to this new reticle somehow, if they're not willing to change this reticle, I think that would be a very big improvement, as well as changing that text from that really small white lettering to something else. Just make it pop more, make it so it doesn't disappear on certain backgrounds. As well as with the enemy tank information, just put it back over the enemy tank. I mean, I get they wanted to put it down in the bottom right for whatever reason. I really don't understand why they wanted to. That was just their idea, I guess. But we asked so long for the health bar over the tanks telling us how much hit points they had left, and we finally got that, and then they just took it away. Yeah, so just put that back on top of the tanks. It was a really good feature. A lot of people liked it. I know. Personally, myself, it was a great feature. It helped a lot. What else is there? As well as just try and rebalance the game. I mean, you've got these skills and perks that they've added with as long as the equipment as well. That can make pretty much any tank into a pure sniper with an ungodly reload. Like when you have an object 430U now, right? And you can get that down to below 0.3 accuracy with your new skills and perks and have a 4.5 second reload. Why do you want to play an accurate tank like, let's say, the Leopard? There's no point anymore, because now the overpowered 430U is already overpowered, and its current state is even more overpowered, and is just making other tanks obsolete, which is going to make the game stale. So just try and rebalance those skills and perks. If they're really not willing to go back on this update, which I still really think they should, they got to do a lot of rebalancing. Bring back ribbons. The mini map in the top left, I know they said they're giving us an option to move it back in the bottom right. That is a great thing. I'm very happy they're doing that. But just rescale it, make the map bigger, as well as scale the icons on the map down, because the icons on that map are huge for how small the map is. So they got to scale those down, as well as give us a place to see our camo net and binoculars, see if they're active. Excuse me. And the last, well, not the last thing, but the second to last thing I really want to touch on is the ammunition in the bottom. So obviously we can see how many shells he has left right now, since he has it selected. But his other two shells, his standard armor piercing and his high explosive, we have no idea how many shells he has left of those, because it only shows you the one you have selected, and that's really useful information that they took away. You could really use that in a battle, just knowing how many of each shell you have left, knowing what your flexibility is for your vehicle. So if they could add that counter back in, that'd be great, so it shows you exactly what amount of shells you have. And last but not least, just the consumables. Reusable consumables are great. We've wanted reusable consumables, and I'm glad they're finally in the game. But just bring the premium consumables back to what they were. 20,000 credits for being able to use it every minute for only 30 seconds is not worth it. There's no point in having it on the tank anymore. They really should just bring it back to the way it was, because the way it was perfect. That's really all for this video. This ended up being longer than I wanted it to be. But I just want to say, before I go, thank you guys so much for the support on the last two videos. They have been incredible. I never could have expected the amount of support you guys have given me for it. Each of them has over 7,000 views, which I never thought would happen. I've gained almost 200 subscribers, over 200 subscribers actually. I just passed 450 at last time checking, so thank you guys so much for that support. I really do appreciate it. I really wish the circumstances were better, but I really appreciate you guys. And thank you again to Vishaw for letting me use his gameplay in the background. Great games by him. And I'm going to keep watching these dev streams, and I'll keep you guys updated. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.